Kristen, did you get a memo from Linda?
I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to the Commissioners Board meeting for January the 20th. We're broadcasting live on Microsoft Teams live event, BCTV, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live. At this time, I want to recognize my executive assistant, Anne Marie Grill. Anne Marie?
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by the limitations of platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Anne Marie. As always, we will begin with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we do each week, we will begin with the Berks County COVID-19 data report. And this is also the week where Brian will give us the Co-County Wellness Update. Brian Gottschall, Director of Berks County Department of Emergency Services. Brian?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, January 20th data report. Our first slide, as always, is taking a look at cases in the county, reminding everyone that as of last week, we announced we're no longer going to be able to track testing due to the methodology DOH is using to report testing now and moving negative tests into the positive column as people who were previously tested negative have subsequent tests that cause them to test positive. But our case curve has had a little bit of a tip over. I don't think that it's in any way, shape, or form adequate for us to say that we peaked and are on a downsurge. We can certainly hope that that's the case, but we also need to be cognizant of the fact that the testing operation has significantly changed, not only in Berks County, but across the state and the nation, as increasing numbers of people are using home antigen tests to diagnose their positives. Those are, of course, not reported in Pennsylvania, and that means that we could have a large number of people who are testing positive, but who aren't showing up in our data. So we need to very cautiously use this case data moving forward as we effort to understand what the significance of spread of COVID in our community is. On a nationwide level, we continue to be very red. I keep thinking that the map can't get any redder and that we're going to continue to have holdout counties with low populations. But each week we do add incrementally smaller numbers, and we can see that we're this week at 99.44% of the counties in the United States and territories that are testing at the high rate. Sorry about that. Our pediatric cases, we see what appears at face value to be very alarming spikes in numbers. But as I've said over the last couple weeks, our pediatric cases are not significantly out of line with our case count in the community. So, of course, one of the reasons we look at this is we want to understand whether kids are being disproportionately affected by COVID. And in an effort to demonstrate that, I've added this inset table here that takes a look at our COVID cases over the weekly periods back through December and takes a look at our case counts of kids 5 to 18 and 0 to 4 as a percentage of the whole case numbers in the community. And what we see is that while we definitely have rising numbers, those numbers are not disproportionately different as a percentage of the community as a whole. So certainly some alarming slopes here, but those alarming slopes match our case slopes in the community as a whole, and that tells us that kids are being impacted in a similar way as they were when our case counts throughout the community were lower. Our hospital numbers are a little bit difficult this week. St. Joe's has some technical issues that are preventing them from updating their web portal, and as such, we can't report on St. Joe's numbers this week, so we only look at Tower Reading numbers, and what we see is that they are very similar to where they were the week prior. Again, we want to emphasize to the community that flat is not good. What we want is downward trending numbers, and these numbers still are representative of a significant impact to our healthcare community caused by COVID, both at the inpatient level here in our hospital censuses, as well as in the way that it's affecting the ingress, the EDs, the emergency rooms at our local hospitals. Again, another really bright spot for our weekly report is our influenza numbers, where we see a second week in a row of a significant downward trend in influenza in the community. So this is really great news. We hope that this is the beginning of what will be an ongoing downward slope through the remainder of the influenza season. But as we've said each week, we're all part of this solution, and we all need to be cognizant of the impact that we can have on our influenza numbers, as we're also having an appropriate impact on our COVID numbers by implementing mitigation measures and protecting ourselves. Our co-county numbers for this week show a continuing upward trend in workload coming into co-county. Again, you have to add up the numbers in this column to look at the total influx of work that they're getting. And then the colors in the columns tell us how successful they're getting, or more specifically, how much the community is cooperating with their efforts. And what we see is that even though the workload that they're getting is growing in each bi-week, we're not seeing a significant change in the amount of cooperation they're getting from the community in their case investigations, with a large number of them being unsuccessful or being successful contacts and no follow-up then from the member of the public that they're working with. Really more of the same in the contact tracing world. The numbers are bigger, but the percentages of successful to unsuccessful in those larger numbers are really not changing in any way, shape, or form. Reminding the public that we have the COVID drive-through testing opportunity here outside of our offices. This will continue today and tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. and then repeat next week from Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And in addition, this coming Saturday as well as next Saturday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. That is the end of the committed engagement by DOH to provide for testing at this location in the community. We'll, of course, keep folks updated if that changes, but as of today, we anticipate that next Saturday, the 29th, will be the end of that engagement. Reminder to folks to enter off of Van Reed Road for easiest access. And of course, directing everyone to doyourpartberks.com, where we try to keep that information as updated as possible, and where there's additional considerable resources for folks looking for information about COVID, whether it's general information, vaccines, or testing. With that, Commissioners, if no questions, I'm back to you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Any questions or comments on Brian's report? Hearing none, we will move into our agenda. Are there any additions or corrections for the January 13th Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have two executive sessions. One last Friday on January the 14th dealing with litigation, and one yesterday dealing with security. Anne Marie, if you could read, I believe there are at least two, maybe three public comments on specific agenda items.
Yes, there are. Okay, the first one is from Judge Grime. Actually, I think it's from his wife, Louise, and they're from Why Missing, agenda item 25 2022. Good morning, Commissioners. We are cognizant of the fact that Berks County will soon be presented with a unique opportunity to plan, design, and build a new jail that reflects our substantial progress in criminal justice reform, enhances safety and justice for all, and cements the idea that a fair and effective penal system, including a right-sized jail, is essential to our democracy and is a core measure of our community's well-being. We can all agree that a project of this size and cost requires a careful, reasonable analysis of information and recommendations from a variety of sources. This should include analysis and proposals from experienced research-based outcome measures, non-for-profit organizations with no vested interest in the outcome, such as the Vera Institute of Justice and the Prison Policy Initiative. They have helped counties across the country end their over-reliance on jails and refrain from incarcerating low-level misdemeanor summary offenders and properly vetted pre-trial detainees. Thank you. That one was from Luis. There is another one on the same agenda item from someone named Crystal Kowalski, and why missing. And that one says, good morning, Commissioners. I have a comment on Agenda 25-2022. After attending CGL's presentation at last week's operation meeting, reading Karen Shuey's comprehensive follow-up article, and being familiar with CGL's work in their 2019 report, Berks County, Pennsylvania Criminal Justice Master Plan, I have to say I am encouraged by the unique opportunity we are being given to take purposeful steps towards building a new jail and plans for justice in Berks, rather than future mass criminalization and mass incarceration. The Prison Policy Initiative, a nonpartisan, non-profit research organization, has a report entitled Building Exits Off of the Highway to Mass Incarceration. I find the title of their report to be very useful, powerful, and proactive image. In Berks, we are currently fortunate enough to be presented with an actual construction project that can build a physical exit ramp off the mass incarceration highway. Now is the time to ensure that the substantial progress this county has made in criminal justice reform is protected for future generations by building a jail that is based on current data and the often spoken, deeply held beliefs of Berks criminal justice reformers. Let's use the opportunity to build justice in Berks. Thank you, Crystal Kowalski. Why I'm missing. And then there is one more from Judge. Should I stop, Christian?
No, yeah, you had these reversed. The first one was from Judge Arthur Grimm. This second one is from his wife, Louise Grimm. And then there is one more commenting on the same issue after this. So go ahead.
Okay, well, the one I just read was from Crystal. And
right.
So now, okay. And now this one is Louise Grimm. The next one, okay. I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay, so this one is from Louise Grimm, why missing, agenda item 25-2022. Good morning, Commissioners. As you proceed with the plans for a new jail, it is critical for the county to hear more than one voice and get more than one opinion on the size of the new jail. There are research-based, not-for-profit organizations that are dedicated to help counties plan for future needs regarding incarcerations with no vested interest in the process. The county, oh, I lost my place. I'm so sorry. Oh, the county should not be careful. The county should be careful not to begin this process with preconceived ideas and should invite more than one organization to the table to ensure that we not only have a right-sized jail, but that we lead in the direction of a fair and effective penal system. Our tax dollars are at stake here, and every bed is at great cost to us and the taxpayers, not only regarding the initial cost of this facility, but the ongoing daily cost of the operation and maintenance. We should be mindful of the adage, if you build it, they will come, as we move forward. How are you planning to proceed regarding this issue? We have one more now. This
I
one
don't
is,
think that's on the, I think that's agenda. That's just a comment.
oh, that is just a comment. Thank you, Commissioner Barnhart.
Yeah, we can deal with that in the public comment.
Commissioner Leinbach, if you'd oblige me, I was going to wait till the end of the meeting to explain what's taking place with the new corrections facility.
Sure.
But this might be a more appropriate time to answer
Absolutely, Commissioner.
some of the questions. So the Berks County Correctional Facility is going to be a 4-year undertaking. There's going to be significant planning, and I've said this time and time again. There's so much more about planning and designing before we put a shovel in the ground, but it's probably 2 years of planning and designing and almost 18 months to 2 years for construction. We are going to be posting the CGL contracts shortly after this meeting on the County of Berks website. You can find it under County of Berks announcements or under the jail website page. But again, this is a 4-year process beginning now, probably with a conclusion sometime in 2026. We're in the process right now of impaneling a steering committee, a very small steering committee that will be meeting every Thursday for several hours a day and reporting back to the Board of Commissioners, the prison board, the following Tuesday at budget operations meeting for any action that needs to be brought to the board or the prison board so we can keep things moving along. Part of what you'll see in the CGL agreement is public input. We intend and plan to hear from the public, have focus groups, have meetings out in the community as weather permits and as Omicron permits to hear from the public. We are not set on any specific design or plan. People seem to fixate on the number of cells. I will remind you that back in 2018, a projection was we had about 950 folks incarcerated as an average. There was a higher number than that projected. We're averaging right now about 730 on a month-to-month rolling basis. But part of this study, again, is to look at demographics, trends, population, to see how many cells we actually need. But again, even though the number might be 730, that doesn't mean you build 730 cells. We have need for segregation, for isolation, for discipline, for quarantine, for females. So you don't simply build a jail and say our average for the last year has been 730, so therefore we need 730 beds. We need room to move and move people through. And as many of you are keenly aware of the COVID-19 Omicron variant, we have several inmates and staff who have COVID. We have to cohort those cells, those units. So there's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of mobility that's built into a jail. It's not simply providing beds. And I would also caution that part of the steering committee is really tied really tightly to the CJAP steering committee, which I'm the chair of, as well as the CJAB general membership. And for Judge Grimm and others listening, you're quite aware of the creation of the Criminal Justice Advisory Board back in the, I think it was the 1990s. They are with us every step of the way. They are helping us with the mission statement. They are that component of criminal justice reform from the MDJ level through the courts, through Berks Connections pretrial and adult and juvenile probation that really helps us to minimize the number of people that actually are incarcerated. So my hat's off to each and every agency and judge who has worked the dozens of years or decades long effort to go from a incarceration number in 2005 of 1,350. We're at 730. So I think there are truly things that have been taking place over this vast number of years that have improved outcomes for those people in the criminal justice system. Just want to put that out there that we are not simply in the blind. And I know there's some concern that CGL profits from this. CGL is not the contractor or not the general contractor to build this facility. They are our partner in making sure that we are researching all of the relevant data and everything we need to have in order to, once we design and build this jail, it's the right jail for the future, probably for the next 30 to 50 years. Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, for indulging me.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart, and thank you for your leadership on this. I'm going to add a few comments. We did get a copy of your letter. Judge Grimm, you were one of the signers, along with a number of other folks. I think Commissioner Barnhart clearly explained that we are not making decisions in a vacuum. And in fact, the commissioners haven't made decisions. If we had, there'd be no need to hire CGL. It'd be a total waste of dollars to bring them on board. But this is a major decision that will impact most likely the next 30 to 50 years of the Berks County Jail and the criminal justice system here in Berks County. I want to emphasize two things. One, there is no rush to make decisions. Our concern is one thing: to make the right decisions on a long-term basis. And to that end, the second item, I do not anticipate an actual vote on type of construction, size, etc., to move forward until the end of 2023, maybe even the beginning of 2024. This is going to be a process that is open, is transparent. As Commissioner Barnhart announced, documents are going to be going up on the county website under announcements and the Berks County Jail page. So we welcome input, and I believe we have the right people at the table. I know that we're talking with Bob Williams, who recently retired. He has been a real benefit in the past in advice on criminal justice reform. So I believe we're talking and listening to the right people. With that, let's move into the agenda. And under authorizing, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2021 budget transfers in the amount of $155,959 and 2022 transfers in the amount of $12,957. 2021 appropriations in the negative amount of $10,576 and 2022 appropriations in the amount of $107,301 per listing dated January the 14th of 2022. We have several items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the appointment of Rodnell Toussaint to Enterprise Support Technician in Information Systems. Item 2, authorize the promotion of Scott Boyd from Enterprise Support Technician to Business Process Analyst in Information Systems. And item 3, authorize the promotion of Robert Perez from Enterprise Support Technician to SQL Database Administrator in Information Systems. There are several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Chair and John Adams, District Attorney, to execute Seaman Maintenance and Service Agreement between the Pennsylvania District Attorney's Institute and the County of Berks effective January 1st of 2022 through December 31st of 2022 to implement and use PA Seaman system to meet and enhance its responsibilities for victim notification, as well as provide additional notification services to county residents. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing and designating Brian Gottschall, Director, Department of Emergency Services, as the County of Berks signatory to execute and terminate the operations level satellite trailer program agreements to allow timely responses to hazmat incidents. Item C, adopt a resolution accepting the attached proposal for design services for the Berks County Agricultural Center submitted by Scott O. Graham on behalf of the Muhlenberg Green Architects, Wyomissing, PA, at the lump sum fixed fee of $195,500 plus an additional amount of $32,560 for 95% construction document estimating, all scopes, and reimbursable expenses as per the schedule attached and made a part thereof on the January 20th, 2022 Commissioners Meeting agenda. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the memorandum of understanding between the County of Berks and the City of Reading, awarding the City of Reading the 2021 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant in the amount of $63,303. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the Social Services and Healthcare Professional Liability Renewal Application for Berks County Children and Youth Services effective January the 8th of 2022. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute component service agreements, needs assessment update of offender population projection and communication services, programming services, and financial model procurement method under the master agreement for owner representative services dated April the 29th of 2021 with CGL Companies LLC in connection with the county's proposal to replace the existing county jail. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the grant agreement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, and Berks County for the distribution and use of interconnectivity funding award in the amount of $418,000. Item H, adopt a resolution authorizing Christine M. Sadler, County Solicitor, to execute a retainer letter and associated documents concerning the retention of Jeff Bukowski of Smith Bukowski to represent the county on a flat fee basis concerning the filing of an amicus brief in opposition to the tolling of bridges on Route 78. I'll just quickly explain that this is joining a case in Western Pennsylvania where 3 municipalities have sued PennDOT over the process by which they concluded they could toll certain bridges on interstates in Pennsylvania. One of those bridges is the Lenhartsville Bridge here in Berks County and I-78. The county, by this action, is hiring Jeff Bukowski to represent the county and to act on behalf of the county to oppose the tolling of bridges on interstate highways. Item I, adopt a resolution authorizing approval of the floor plan design by Olson Design Group dated January the 13th of 2022 for Magisterial District Court 23303, Ole, Pennsylvania. This was discussed at the Tuesday meeting, but is being voted on and potentially approved here at today's meeting. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated January the 14th of 2022. There are a total of 6 contracts, 1 with CareerLink, 4 with Children and Youth Services, and 1 with the Berks County Library System. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of payments and electronic transfers as set forth in the Controller's Office voucher listing dated January the 20th of 2022.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second that motion. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. At this time, we'll go to our treasurer's report. Dennis Adams is not available, so I will read the treasurer's report. The general account balance is $165,379,181.33. There is a balance to clear of $6,186,267.21, leaving a balance of $159,192,914.12.
Christian,
Yes.
Commissioner, this is Dennis Adams. I was here listening to you. I just wanted to see if you could do that today.
Okay.
Actually,
I got the email from Linda Weaver saying that Dennis Adams wasn't going to be available, and would I read it? So,
yeah, I thought I was having a technical problem. It was my finger wasn't working right.
that's okay. Not a problem. I'm always ready to jump in.
Good job.
We'll go now to our county controller's report, and our county controller is not available, but in lieu of Sandy Graffius, we have Scott Polk from the controller's office. Scott?
Okay, thank you. Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
For the week ending January 20th, we had accounts payable of $7,098,484.56. We also had a payroll of $4,748,207.31 for a grand total of $11,846,691.87.
Thank you very much, Scott. We'll move now to a report of our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. With the colder winter weather right now, most people aren't focused on spending time in parks, in a park setting, but nonetheless, our County Parks Department has a number of programs coming up in the next several weeks that I'd like to share with our public. First being some of the winter wellness walks that have been scheduled. The next one being on Saturday, February the 12th. These take place from 9 to 10 a.m. and people are encouraged to register and meet at the Berks County Heritage Center parking lot. Inclement weather or poor trail conditions may cause these to be canceled based upon prevailing conditions at the day of the event. And the registration can be done by emailing Lisa Gawker at lgawker@countyofberks.com or calling the Parks office at 610-374-2944 extension 2611. And information on all of these can be found on the county webpage for the Parks Department at countyofberks.com/parks. The next set of events takes place in the middle of February. There's two of them involving the sport of snowshoeing. First being Valentine's celebration on Wednesday, February the 16th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And this takes place at the Heritage Center. You can either bring your snowshoes or borrow a pair from the Parks Department. It's a free program, but registration is required for that. And the information on that is available again at the Parks Department webpage. And then on Saturday, February the 19th from 10 till noon at the Heritage Center, again, there's a snowshoeing 101 session. In the event that there is no snow, they'll just be hiking along the Union Canal Trail. And then lastly, on Saturday, February the 26th, they have an interesting program at Grings Mill. Registration is required for this, and this does have a $3 per person charge for a program on maple sugaring 101. Again, all this information is available on our Parks Department webpage, and we encourage people to come out and participate in these events. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. Very informative programs coming up at our parks, and let's hope they have a foot or more of snow for the snowshoeing. I know not everybody likes snow, but I like snow, so we'll hope for a good bit of it for those events. With that, we will move to commissioners' comments. I do want to note that Commissioner Rivera is part of the County Commissioners Association P Corp Board. That is a board dealing with county insurance programs. And so he is not here today because he is participating as a board member. And so with that, we will begin commissioner comments with Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. I just want to revert back to some of the comments about the corrections facility. CGL will be revising numbers and data that we collected in 2018 to give us a real accurate picture of what the facility could or should look like. So revisions are going to be taking place. We're going to be having a kickoff meeting in mid-February with our steering committee. We also will be, again, I want to emphasize, we'll be doing community outreach. So each and every community member who has interest in what the community corrections facility will look like will have an opportunity to let us know as a board of commissioners, as a prison board. And we're also working on establishing with CGL a website for people to source information as we progress on the design and construction of the corrections facility. So we believe we are being extremely transparent and open. Anything that we want to put out in the public will be made accessible to the public, either on the website or at our commissioners meetings or our budget ops meetings as we move forward, and information will be dispersed at prison board meetings and at criminal justice advisory board steering committees, as well as general membership committees. So there's a lot of planning that we're going to be doing for at least the next year or 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. I have no specific comments, just will note that next Thursday, I plan to present a review of my 2021 goals and present my 2022 goals here for the County of Berks. With that, are there any comments from row officers? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to public comment. And there is at least one public comment. Anne Marie, if you want to go ahead and read that. And I already apologize to Jane Palmer. This was related to the agenda item, but we'll go ahead and read it now.
Yes, Jane Palmer from Why I'm Missing says, several people have weighed in today about the importance of thorough, nonpartisan research into the size of our future jail. This issue is of great concern to Berks taxpayers and those who care about criminal justice, and you, our commissioners, have assured the public that you will engage in such research. What worries me, though, is that Commissioner Barnhart has twice in public meetings cited a figure of 1,000 beds, which sounds an awful lot like he and possibly all of you have come to private understanding before the research has even begun. If we are going to pay CLG a down payment of $84,000 to research and project a population number, we ought to do it without preconceived notions. I'd also like to point out that the 1,000 figure is 25% greater than the highest jail percent population in recent history. We should be thinking of ways to reduce the number of people we put behind bars, not engage in baseless expansion. Please, commissioners, plan for justice, not mass incarceration.
And I think that's all we have in the way of comments. We'll close comments. Again, I think Commissioner Barnhart answered this question very well. It is not as simple as saying we have X number of average daily population, so we need 10% more beds. It is an understanding of various laws. PREA, for instance, under our current setup, we can't have juveniles at our Berks County Jail. That's why they are taken when we have juvenile offenders to Lehigh Valley. We have an agreement with them. He mentioned that women are separated and that there are other cohorts, and that affects the size. But again, he made it clear, I made it clear, I'll reiterate it again. I've made no commitments on any aspect of the jail other than to get the best possible input from all of the stakeholders, recognizing the criminal justice reform is a critical part of it. I mentioned the name Bob Williams. Bob Williams played a big part in helping us limit the number of people in the jail by, I think, is it a year ago or more, Commissioner Barnhart, that he came with a proposal to the commissioners for more electronic monitoring, which also required some additional staff in probation. And that's ended up being a good thing for everyone.
Yes.
So those are the kinds of things we need to think about. No one on this board advocates mass incarceration. Never heard anyone on this board advocate for that. What we advocate for is that the jail, the county jail, should be for those individuals that need to be, for whatever reason, separated from society, either while they're a potential flight risk, waiting for a hearing, or they have a sentence that's under 2 years and they are filling out their sentence. I'm a strong believer that truly non-violent offenders, convicted offenders, that we need to be looking at alternatives to incarceration. And personally, I think you're seeing that. When we took office, we were roughly around 1,300 with a projection of a much higher population. And I know this, Commissioner Barnhart and I asked the question, where's this information coming from? Because we were faced with building a new wing on the jail in 2008. We questioned the data. We found out the data was from a study that was several years old. We asked for new data. The new data showed not an increase, it showed a decline. And as a result, we voted to eliminate that expansion project. I believe there was a bond that had already been approved by the prior board for somewhere in the vicinity of $27 million. We didn't take that money and say, wow, let's spend it on something else. We put it back. We didn't borrow that money. So this board has a really solid record of looking for alternatives. And today we're looking at 730 roughly average daily population. And we can't take the credit ourselves. Our district attorney, John Adams, has been part of this. Our courts have been part of this. APO, JPO, public defender, Berks Connection pretrial service. Everyone has played a significant role in limiting our inmate population, and I do believe there's more work to be done. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Commissioner, but those are my thoughts.
I think you summed it up very well. I think everyone in our criminal justice system at the county does a tremendous job of deterring people from being incarcerated. And I've seen an improvement personally at the MDJ level with some of the newer MDJs. They are becoming part of the solution, not theoretically part of the problem. So it starts there, goes through the court system, and obviously we have all those partners at the table with the Criminal Justice Advisory Board. Everyone is focused on better outcomes for folks in the criminal justice system.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Anything else for the good of the order?
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
The meeting stands adjourned.